WCBI News at 6 starts now.
We're continuing now with this extended edition of WCBI News. We're going to take you right up to the top of the hour where we're going to rejoin CBS's March Madness coverage. We're continuing to follow updates today in the Clay County double homicide investigation, and that's where we start right now. Two men are under arrest today. They're both facing murder charges in this case. Shundre Johnson of Manti and Tiberius Coffey of Calhoun City. Our Quentin Smith is in West Point, where both the suspects were in court today. Quentin.
Tommy, I'm here outside of the Clay County Sheriff's Department, and it was just hours ago when the suspects were handcuffed and taken into court. Now, both suspects, 22-year-old Shundre Johnson and 24-year-old Tiberius Coffey, are both being charged with 2 counts of murder each for the shooting and killing of Kenya Campbell and Quinterio Boyd. Now, multiple agencies worked with the Clay County Sheriff's Department to arrest these 2 men. Johnson was arrested by U.S. Marshals in Memphis, and Coffey was arrested in Calhoun County earlier this morning. Now, we caught up with Clay County Sheriff Eddie Scott to get his thoughts on the arrest. Here's what he had to say.
I know our community feels better, and us as law enforcement feels better. I got to give credit to all the different agencies that's been involved. None of them have slept since this happened Tuesday night. They have worked around the clock, to start bringing closure to this case. And then we still got a ways to go, as far as putting the finishing touches on it.
Now, the bond for both suspects is set at $500,000, and their preliminary hearing is set for May 25th. For now, reporting live in Clay County, Quentin Smith. Tommy, back to you.
All right, Quentin, thank you. And there were 10 agencies working on that starting Tuesday night into Wednesday in that case. Which to the case of another shooting, one that happened today. This is in Crawford. It was a nightclub there, and the shooting injured one person. This was early this morning. The shooting happened here at Club Exotic on Highway 245. One person is under arrest, but deputies are not identifying who it is. The victim's injuries are not life-threatening in this case. Investigators aren't sure what led to this, what led to the gunfire. Mounds County deputies went to North Mississippi Medical Center in West Point to see that victim just before 2 o'clock this morning. After an early morning stabbing in Itawamba County, police are still trying to figure out what that suspect will be charged with. Our Selena Schaefer has the latest from Manatee.
It was around 10 a.m. this morning when the alleged home invasion and stabbing took place here at this residence on Mount Pisgah Road in Manatee. Now, one man is in custody and one woman is in stable condition after suffering from multiple stab wounds.
We got a call this morning about possible stabbing and robbery. Officer responded. When he got there, he found the victim. She had been stabbed 2 to 3 times. It was in the extremities.
One of those extremities being her left cheek. The victim is 50-year-old Melissa G. Baswell of Manatee. Investigators say Corey Stewart of Manatee allegedly stabbed and robbed Baswell at her home. He
left the scene, and it looks like he threw the weapon in the ditch as he was leaving. From that point, got a description of the individual. Luckily, the Itawamba County Sheriff's Office was able to locate him, and he is in custody now.
In exclusive video, our cameras were there as deputies brought Stewart in for questioning.
Do you have anything to say regarding the stabbing that took place this morning?
No, ma'am.
Do you have any relationship to the victim that was stabbed?
No, ma'am.
Baswell's son, Zachary Baswell, insisted his mother not do an interview. He says Stewart previously dated his cousin, and that's how Stewart knew the victim.
As of right now, Police Chief Roberts isn't sure as to what exactly Stewart will be charged with, whether it's home invasion or robbery. But WCBI will keep you posted as those details become available. For now, in Manatee, Selena Schaefer, WCBI News.
Thank you, Selena. And to the search now for 2 men who escaped from jail in Marion County, Alabama. Members of law enforcement are still looking for them tonight. 22-year-old Corey Dean there on the left, 20-year-old Zeppelin Kennedy is on the right. They escaped around 1:30 this morning. Dean is facing charges for burglary, criminal mischief, arson, and shooting into a building. For Kennedy, multiple counts of possession of child pornography and production of pornography with a minor. Kennedy was last seen wearing a gray sweatshirt with white pants. Dean was wearing a gray t-shirt with gray sweatpants. Law enforcement believe that they may be headed to Lee County in Mississippi. Dean has a girlfriend from that area. Deputies believe that they're in a silver Ford Ranger that was stolen earlier today in the Hamilton, Alabama area. It was spotted on highway cameras on I-22. U.S. Marshals are assisting in this investigation. Anyone with any information on either of these two men can contact local law enforcement. The two are considered to be dangerous. Now to our weather tonight. Chief Meteorologist Keith Gibson is back with us. Keith, yes, staying warm into the weekend.
Yeah, how about that? Things have really changed around. And look at where we are this evening. Columbus, a mix of sun and clouds. Same story in Tupelo with our Alpha Insurance Skycam network in HD. Widespread warmth across the region. Nice to see finally after a chilly week. 70 in Columbus, 78 in Shreveport right now. There is a band of showers developing toward north with some clouds. That band of showers will come on south later this evening, but not in the near term though. If you're heading out on this Friday night for the last bit of St. Patrick's Day, we're looking good. Your weekend forecast in just a few minutes.
Keith, thank you. Lee Mall in Columbus is losing one of its largest stores and a longtime staple for shoppers. JCPenney says it's going to close its Columbus location along with stores in Corinth, Oxford, and many other parts of the country. The retailer released a list of 138 department stores that it plans to close. In Mississippi, Greenville and Meridian locations will also shut down. Most stores will begin liquidation sales in mid-April, and they're going to close in June. 5,000 workers nationwide are going to lose their jobs from this. The Columbus location is scheduled to close June 1st. Lawmakers in Jackson are ending their 11th week in session. We spoke to two guys today who represent our area. Republican Representative Gary Chisholm, he's been pleased for the most part with this session. Democratic Senator Hob Bryan has some criticism of GOP leadership.
Practically every decision of any importance is made by the Speaker and by the Lieutenant Governor behind closed doors in their offices. The concentration of power in the office of the Lieutenant Governor and the office of Speaker is unlike anything I've seen since I've been down there.
It could have been more open, as he suggested, but just like in D.C., until the Obamacare repeal bill was ready, nobody is willing to speculate what's in it. So the Ed Bill rewrite of the MAEP is yet to be seen by any of us.
We're showing our extended conversations with both of them Monday on Mid-Morning with Andrea. That's at 9 in the morning. We'll have more on the debates over education and road repairs, among other topics. Cold cases can provide some of the most challenging situations for law enforcement. Why one community is remembering a fallen officer today, and more on those challenges. That's coming up next. People in Aberdeen today gather to remember a fallen officer. It's been 26 years since Eric Wilson was shot and killed while he was on duty. Happened in 1991. People there still in mourning as they come together today. Family, friends, and fellow officers, they're paying their respects today to the fallen officer as they do every year. Wilson's sister says after 26 years, it never gets easier.
No, it does not. As a matter of fact, it gets harder each year because I have the compilation of the reruns in my mind of all of us not having Eric in our lives.
The family extends appreciation to the city of Aberdeen for this annual remembrance of Wilson's life and legacy. And Officer Eric Wilson's death is one of more than 200,000 homicides in the U.S. that remain unsolved. The older a case gets, the more challenging it can be for law enforcement to make an arrest. Our Victoria Bailey joins us now. She talked with investigators and she has more on these difficulties. Victoria.
That's right, Tommy. Those nationwide numbers come from a report by Scripps News and NPR back in 2015. Now today, law enforcement tell me it's hard enough tracking down witnesses, testimony, evidence for a new case, let alone one that happened 5, 10, or even 2 decades ago.
A case becomes cold after only a year.
It could be several things that make it a cold case. There's not enough evidence, there's not a weapon, there's not a name, there's not any source of people that you can gather your information from, so it kind of goes unsolved for a while until you can get things for its proof.
Aberdeen Police Chief Henry Randall says after carrying a badge for 21 years, technology has definitely extended how law enforcement can investigate a crime.
We can do a lot of things with technology. We can ping phones, we can look at evidence, computer normally capitalize on some of the things that the criminals think is they've erased.
Monroe County Sheriff Cecil Cantrell says having enough information on a cold case is challenging, and making it stick in court is a bigger challenge.
What he says or she says, that's really going nowhere. What you need is facts, factual things that actually happened, factual things or a statement that you heard that you can testify to and help us in court.
Now these investigations can be worked a few ways: through the responding agency, through the Mississippi Bureau of Investigation, or the case could be contracted out.
You have a lot of retired officers, a lot of retired detectives that like to take on these responsibilities. They have way more time to go out of town. They have more resources. They're able to call some other local departments that they've worked with in the past, and they're able to gather evidence that we may not be able to get.
Both officers say a vital part of solving a cold case is
the people, your citizens, are your biggest support. If you can get your citizens to give you a start somewhere, that usually helps tremendously.
If anybody knows anything about a cold case, or they have any evidence, any new evidence on any cold case, we're willing to sit down and talk to anyone, anytime.
Now you can also contact law enforcement anonymously through a Crime Stoppers organization. Tommy?
Victoria, thank you. It was a sad ending today for a Gordo, Alabama woman. Libby Hankins passed away today around noon, surrounded by family. She's been fighting for her life in a North Carolina hospital for more than a year. She received a double lung transplant at Duke University. We're seeing video here from last April. It was a story we did here on WCBI about the former University of West Alabama student. Hankins was diagnosed with cystic fibrosis when she was 2 years old. Her story went viral on social media. More than 36,000 people were following her progress in the hospital on Facebook. Libby Hankins was 23 years old.
Watching showers up here north of Memphis right now. This band of rain will continue to move off to the south and southeast as we go throughout the evening. We're dry in the near term. This rain will move through during the night. We're looking pretty nice on Saturday, turning sunny. Pretty nice on Sunday, too. The full forecast is next.
Your first alert weather forecast with Chief Meteorologist Keith Gibson.
Here's a neat picture of some clouds, and they're all lined up in these little rows. A sign of a stable atmosphere out there today on our Friday. Stay connected with us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We are, of course, streaming live at WCBI.com. This is our Alpha Insurance time-lapse from downtown Tupelo today. Folks gathering for the barbecue duel. Things warmed up nicely for the start of the festival today. We will stay mild as we go throughout the course of the weekend, developing sunshine as well. So no rain in Tupelo this evening for the rest of tonight, or less for the rest of this evening, let's say. We're dry across our viewing area. There are some showers back up to our north in Arkansas and Tennessee. This will be moving south as we go throughout the overnight hours. So probably after midnight, we'll have a chance for some rain showers around here, maybe even a few thunderstorms. Temperatures right now into the low and mid-70s, much different from where we started out today. Our forecast low tonight, 57. Rain and storms likely after midnight. And here's Futurecast as we go through time. You can see this band of showers and a few isolated thunderstorms moving through during the night into tomorrow morning. Some of this could linger by mid-morning tomorrow. After 9 or 10 o'clock, a lot of that should be done. Clouds will thin out. We'll see a nice clearing trend as we get into your Saturday afternoon. Not too shabby as we start out the weekend. Here's how it's going to look in Columbus tomorrow. 9 o'clock, 60 degrees, overcast, maybe a few lingering showers. By noon, more in the way of sunshine. By the afternoon, 73 degrees, give or take. It's looking pretty nice. Here's our city-by-city forecast for you in Tupelo, 73 degrees, down to the south towards Louisville, 74 in Eupora, and for you in Vernon, also at 73 degrees. High pressure is moving on in for your Sunday and Monday. We're looking pretty nice and mild. That front right there to our north will come in sometime Tuesday and give us a little bit of cooler air by Wednesday. But look at our temperature trend here, 73 Saturday, 68 on Sunday, 80 Monday and Tuesday. Pretty nice here as spring begins. A bit of a roller coaster ride. Mild tonight, cool tomorrow night. But in general, we're warming up. 63 on Wednesday, back into the 70s. By the end of next week, our next chance for any strong to severe storms around here could be at the end of next week on Friday or Friday night. There's your 7-day forecast. More of the show. We'll look at sports after the break.
WCDI Sports with Tom Ebel is brought to you by your local Ford dealers. Go further.
It's been a record-breaking season for Hail State Hoops. Most regular season wins, highest regular season rankings, highest tournament seeding ever. But it's a whole new season once the tournament begins, and the Mississippi State Bulldogs look to make a run starting with Troy. Head coach Vic Schaefer benching Victoria Vivians and Dominique Dillingham and most of the starters to start the game, but Blair Schaefer says, don't worry, guys, I got this. She'd start the game with a 3. Here's a mid-range jumper for Blair. Then she's going to hit another 3. This one is way good with the defender in her face. And then off the inbounds play, Blair Schaefer's going to go on an 11-2 run all by herself. This one from the parking lot to start the game, but Troy not going away in the first quarter. Here they drain the mid-range jumper. It'd be a 6-point game after 1, but then Victoria Vivians finally checks in for the first time in the second quarter, and 10 seconds later, here she is with the corner triple. That one's a beauty. So I said it was a 6-point game after 1. That's about really as close as it got for the rest of the game. Here's Ro Johnson all by herself having a picnic in the corner. Makes it a 12-point game. And then right before the first half buzzer, Vic Schaefer drawing up a play. I don't think this is how it was supposed to turn out. Look at Vivians just hoist one up and sink it at the buzzer. Unconventional, it doesn't matter. State would go on an 18-1 run to end the first half, and it only got worse. Here, they're up by over 40. Here's Amisha Williams finishing with a tip of her own. Bulldogs set a new program mark with the most points scored in a tournament game with 95, and they only added more. Here, one more layup. Mississippi State would go on to score 110 points. It's their most points on the season, most points in tournament history for the Bulldogs. They race past Troy 110-69. The Bulldogs advance to take on DePaul in the round of 32. Here's reaction after the game.
I'm just really proud of my team today, proud of my university, so proud of our fans today. 5,500, I think, 1:30 in the afternoon. I mean, I don't know what across the country, what else everybody else has got going, but I'd say that's pretty doggone special.
It's crazy how a support system like this can make us feel so at home, which we are, and it gives us so much energy, and so that's how we come out and we redeem ourselves, and we didn't want to leave that sour taste in our mouth.
We want to give our seniors another senior night, and I feel like we came out and we played, and we knew we didn't want this to be the last game, so we had to come out hard.
While March Madness rages on, so does baseball season. The non-conference season is basically behind us, and the Rebels and Bulldogs dive right into SEC play starting tonight. Mississippi State travels to Fayetteville to take on the Razorbacks. Arkansas will come into the contest with a 14-4 record, and Mississippi State, that game is at 6:30 over on SEC Network tonight. And then, of course, We'll look to have some highlights coming up tonight on WCBI as well as all throughout this weekend. And then Ole Miss, the number 16 Rebels, they're staying at Swayze to start SEC play, taking on the 24th ranked Vanderbilt Commodores. Vanderbilt comes into the contest 12-6 so far in the season, but Ole Miss boasts an 11-2 record at Swayze Field. So baseball season is here, but of course March Madness rages on, Tommy. Mississippi State playing DePaul on Sunday. We won't have that game until all the Friday games are over, so we'll have that time coming up for you hopefully later on WCBI Sports.
But they have advanced. They took care of business today at home. Another home
It's always
game
the first one. Once you knock out the first one, you score 110 points.
Exactly.
Who knows what you can do from there?
Incredible from them today.
Hey, you can't beat 110.
No. All right, Tom, thank you. Final look at the weekend forecast is coming up next.
Watching the showers and thunder showers north of Memphis, they will tend to fill in into a bit of a line and move south later tonight, and we'll see that rain wrap up by mid-morning tomorrow, and then the rest of the weekend, tomorrow afternoon, your Sunday looking great, pushing 80 Monday and Tuesday. Folks have been complaining about the cold weather. Well, guess what? Warm weather's finally back.
A lot of it coming back.
That's right.
Strong for us.
Spring begins Monday.
Yeah. All right, Keith, thank you. We're back at 9 o'clock and at 11 o'clock here on WCBI.